13 points clear. 10 games to go. They've only lost one game in their first 28 games, so they're not exactly going to lose 4 to help Arsenal gain, 12 plus points or 13 plus points on them. The title is Liverpool, and I feel sick. First of all, they've done it essentially in February. Let's be honest, it's done. Second of all, Arsenal aren't catching them because Arsenal can't score. Arsenal can't beat West Ham. Arsenal can't beat Nottingham Forest. And third of all, as much as it kills me to say this, they deserve it. People are saying, oh, it's only because Arsenal got injured, it's only because Manchester City fell off. And yeah, the reason they've probably wrapped up the title in February is because of that. It'd probably be a lot closer if Arsenal had players fit and Manchester City did not fall off. But let's not deny the fact that I'm saying this as a Manchester United fan that would love to take anything away from Liverpool winning a 20th title because that equals our record, and that makes me feel sick because Liverpool look more like winning a 21st title than Man United and going back to back right now. But Liverpool deserve it. If Liverpool win the league, they deserve to win the league. Look at the season Mo Salah's had. This is becoming an all-timer record breaker season. I said in my last video on Liverpool how many records he broke in just one game, and this season it's ridiculous. Van Dijk's been unbelievable. Konate's been really good, but the midfield, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, McAllister, Liverpool are walking away with the league, and Liverpool are 13 points clear because they've been that much better than everybody else. So maybe everybody else hasn't been at their best, but you can't say Liverpool don't deserve to win it. And I'd love to say that's United fan. So this is the match reaction to the Liverpool Newcastle game. All the games were on at once, which was really annoying. So I asked you guys which game you wanted to see, and surprise, surprise, it was the Liverpool game, which I'm not surprised by. I'm glad that people didn't vote Arsenal Forest because that was it. That was a killer. So let's talk about Liverpool versus Newcastle. I'm going to talk about Newcastle a little bit as well. I thought Lewis Hall was really good today, but I thought Newcastle was disappointing, and I'm going to talk about some issues that Newcastle had. But I want to talk about Liverpool. I want to talk about Szoboszlai in particular, and then I will talk a little bit about Newcastle. So let's rewind back to 2 weeks ago. Everton 2, Liverpool 2. Now let's rewind back to 1 week ago. 1 week ago, it was Liverpool 2, Aston Villa 2. Arsenal fans were celebrating that they could close the gap to 5 points if they beat West Ham. Liverpool fans were panicking that Arsenal were going to catch them, the title race is over. It's crazy how emotional, football can change in the space of a week. 2-2 Villa, some fans were starting to panic. Arsenal were getting a bit giddy. For Liverpool to go and beat City and Newcastle, and Arsenal to not beat West Ham and not beat Forest, and just say, look, Liverpool have won the league. And I said in my Villa reaction or one of my videos, said, if Liverpool beat City and Newcastle, that is the title wrapped up. If Arsenal had won their games, reduced the gap to 5 points, and potentially if Liverpool had lost to City, it's a different story. But all Liverpool needed to do to, I think, secure the title was beat City and beat Newcastle, which is 2 of the harder games they're going to get because they've got Southampton next in the league. Yes, they drew to Everton. Yes, they were shaky versus Wolves. Yes, they were, of course, a little bit shaky versus Villa, but I think they did enough to win that game. But they beat Man City at the Etihad. They played them off the park. They beat a Newcastle side that was in good form by the last 2 games and comfortably beat Newcastle. Newcastle were not particularly good, in my opinion. It was a very, very comfortable win for Liverpool. I thought Liverpool were particularly dominant. I know it was only one big chance or another big chance, but Liverpool had a lot of the ball. They looked comfortable. I don't think Liverpool were even at their very best, believe it or not. I thought I was disappointed with Newcastle today. I think Isak was clearly a big miss. But I thought the midfield, considering how good Tonali and Bruno Guimaraes had been, I think they reported today. I thought Szoboszlai and McAllister were immense, in particular Szoboszlai. So this was Liverpool lineup for the game. I think, fullback is something they've got to look at in the summer. I think everyone was good today, but I think, Trent's going to go and Tsimikas is probably the weak point in that starting 11. I thought Endo did well when he came on as well in midfield, but very, very strong lineup. I think striker and left back is what you look at when you look at that lineup for room for improvement. So this is Liverpool, because Arsenal always talk about not having that striker and not having this player, but Liverpool don't have that striker yet. Liverpool deserve to win the league, and you could argue Liverpool need a left back, another body in midfield, a left-sided centre-back to give a bit of depth there on striker. That's 4 signings. Liverpool aren't even... what scares me a little bit is the fact that, and I said this in my last match reaction, that Liverpool aren't even complete under Slot. This is Slot's first season, his adaptation season. He hasn't even got his players in, and he's doing this. Liverpool have now scored 2+ goals in 18 consecutive games at Anfield in all competitions, the longest run of home games with more than 1 goal scored in succession by an English top club flight since Sunderland from February to December 1935, which is 19, which is ridiculous. 2+ goals. You got the most clean sheets, you're scoring 2+ goals in 18 consecutive home games at Anfield. Just scoring goals. Salah's numbers are ridiculous. I think he's about to break a record. I think the Salah stat was this: 42 goal contributions in 28 games, 4 more assists to break the record, 3 more goal involvements to break the record for a 38-game season, 6 more for the outright record. It's ridiculous what Salah's going to do this season. It's an all-time, and it's like Suarez had that all-time season, Henry had that all-time season. It is Mo Salah's Ballon d'Or season, surely, especially if Anthony's lighting up La Liga. I don't know if the Rafinha argument has as many legs. I guess it depends. I think if Liverpool win the Champions League, Salah Ballon d'Or surely is guaranteed. And I think at this rate, if everything stopped, it would be guaranteed. But you never know. There is a La Liga bias when it comes to the Ballon d'Or, although Rodri did win it last year. But look, as I said, Arsenal dropping more points. They can't score goals. Liverpool are too good. 13 points clear. City and Newcastle beat them within 4 days. That was 2 tough tests. Arsenal didn't beat West Ham. They didn't beat Forest. And Liverpool were uncatchable. Even if Arsenal won those games, Liverpool don't look catchable because they're just better than the Arsenal. Let's be honest. Arsenal can't score goals. Well, they can, but set pieces, a lot of them. Odegaard's gone missing 2 games in a row that goal for Arsenal. I thought McAllister and Szoboszlai were unreal today, and I thought the midfield was fantastic because Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes, really good midfield this season, and I thought that Liverpool stepped up. And I think in all the big games, the Liverpool midfield has always stepped up. Man United, Tottenham, Manchester City. The Liverpool midfield, Salah's going to be player of the season, and Van Dijk's been incredible, but the midfield's been just as important because midfield win and lose your games. But I thought Diaz had a really good game. I thought it was a much better game for Diaz. Really electric, really good in the first half. Much better on the wing. He was looking to get forward, create things, make things happen. I think Diaz is in the man of the match debate today, but I'm going to give it to Szoboszlai. I thought Endo again coming on, good cameo, looking good. And I think Slot is slowly putting more trust in Endo, which he was reluctant to do, which means you can take Gravenberch off for a bit if you need to. Because I think, Gravenberch's been unbelievable, but he's been worn into the ground. I think Slot knowing he can trust Endo is definitely going to help. As I said, another clean sheet for Liverpool. They look a lot more comfortable at the back. Callum Wilson potentially could have scored today. But other than that, I thought Liverpool looked a lot better at the back. And I'm going to say this now, you looked a bit shaky versus Everton, and you looked a little bit shaky versus Villa in the sense of you just weren't as convincing, and the win versus Wolves wasn't as convincing. And I say shaky, more nervy. Maybe I feel like the fact that Arsenal dropped points to West Ham gave Liverpool such a confidence boost that they were going to win the league that you were back to taking risks. And it was almost like in those games you were taking less risks, that you were almost a bit scared of dropping points. Maybe that's just me. It's a bit of a rogue point that maybe Arsenal dropping points also just helps the mental side of it. Do you know what I mean? And I also think the win versus City needed to help the mental side of it because you had a slump and you needed that game to just bring you back out. But yeah, top performance from Szoboszlai, clearly man of the match today. And I think the way that Slot has brought the best out of Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, and Gakpo this season, you've got to give him credit as a coach. Arne Slot's done an unbelievable job as a coach because Jurgen Klopp did an unbelievable job at Liverpool. So to fill his boots is already really hard. To basically not be backed because he clearly doesn't rate Chiesa, or didn't want Chiesa, let's be honest. And Marmadashvili wasn't a signing for now. He wasn't backed in the summer. He's inherited Klopp's squad, which is obviously a good squad. But it's difficult. You're a different manager, and he's adapted tactics. He's brought the best out of players. He's adapted tactics at half-time. He's really got his ideas through to players. He's done an unbelievable job. But let's talk about my man of the match, Szoboszlai, today, who was incredible. Obviously scored the goal today, and he's starting to get his goals and assist numbers up, which is something that sort of sin when Liverpool first brought him, which he hasn't done as much at Liverpool. But his all-round game's always been good in terms of out possession. It's just, can he get those goal numbers up, which he's starting to do. He needs to shoot more because I tell you what, he's a good finisher, isn't he? But 2 key passes, 2 long balls, 1 out of 1 dribble, 1, 8 out of 10 duels won. He just wins his duels. He wins his tackles. He can put in a shift all over the pitch. But it's the pressing, the positions he takes up, the late runs he makes to create space or find space. It's frustrating as a Man United fan because when Man United have the ball in attack, I just see statues sometimes. Whereas when Liverpool have the ball in attack, Salah's making a run here, Szoboszlai's making a run there, and then players like McAllister that can pick out a pass, or Salah that can pick out a pass, for example, Gakpo or Diaz, they'll find them. It's the running and the movement and the intelligence from Szoboszlai, which is a great trait to have. Important goal for Szoboszlai today and so much more. He won more tackles, 4, and the most duels, 8, and made the most recoveries, 8, on the pitch today. Absolute engine. Man of the match for me. And I think in these big games, City, Spurs, United, and now Newcastle, he's putting in man of the match level performances. He's showing up in the big games. He's showing up when it matters, when the tight race matters for Liverpool. He's got the running power, the engine, the pressing, the physicality, which means that Liverpool can play at higher intensity, and he's going toe-to-toe physically with every midfield and they can't compete with him. He's been unbelievable, not just because the numbers are getting up, but all-round performances have been good. He's been crashing the box, causing problems. He opens up space for others. When he runs into space, he can drag defenders with him. He gets between the lines. He likes to find space, get the ball, really starting to make that influence in the final third. And I think you can see technically he's quite underrated. He was getting a bit of stick at the beginning of the season because he started his last season well at Liverpool, dropped off a bit. Started this season slow, but he was doing quite good out of possession, but then really grown into this season and shown his value. And I think a lot of the people that gave him a stick earlier in the season are sort of clapping him now and saying that's the Szoboszlai I want to see. I think he's been really good, ball carrying, pressing. I think the pressing and off the ball work is what he's known for. In terms of Newcastle, I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm going to get through this quickly. I thought Hull was good, especially considering he's up against Salah. No goal for Salah today, so done something right. But I thought Hull was hands down man of the match, best player on the pitch for a while. Liverpool was right. Gordon had moments, but Isak was clearly missed. Newcastle needs centre back with pace, someone that can cover large ground, defend transitions. I think Newcastle look a little bit more. They're not as mobile in defence, and I think that's something that they need. Of course, ageing. Midfield was poor today. Tonali and Bruno nowhere near their best, and Tonali and Bruno have been unbelievable this season. I thought Miley had a decent cameo, but Hall was standout. Isak was a big miss, massive miss today. The attacking third just didn't connect as well. I think Wilson looks a little bit done out there. I think it's just injuries physically killing him off. Pope's a liability. Like, you could argue that Bradford could come back in and just too many mistakes, I think, that Newcastle were making. I think it always felt like Liverpool were going to win this game. It felt like Newcastle didn't get going, but they did make mistakes. Let's give a shout out to Luis Diaz. Unbelievable today. He looks so much better on that left wing, but the problem is Gakpo has also been unbelievable on the left wing. It's like Luis Diaz starts really well, then Gakpo's been better for a bit, and now Luis Diaz has been fantastic due to Gakpo injury. You've got two really good left wingers. You clearly need a striker. But 5 key passes, 2 out of 2 long balls, 4 out of 5 dribbles, 8 out of 15 duels, 3 tackles. I think it's how direct he is. He chases and chases and chases. He gets the ball. He wants to drive forward, take on players, make things happen, create. Most chances created, most dribbles, and won the most duels. He was really good. And then Salah, as I said, the season he's having, I mean, surely he wins the Ballon d'Or. I mean, I'm saying this as a Man United fan. I just don't know how he doesn't at this rate, unless something catastrophic happened. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below on the game. I don't want to make this video too long. Thank you for watching, and bye.